I used to laugh at all that self-help stuff. Meditation, therapy, feelings. I thought it was for people who couldn't handle life. I handled life. I showed up. I pushed through. And for a long time, that seemed to work. Until one day, it didn't. My body, the same body I relied on for 40 years on the job, just gave out. Not from injury, but from something deeper I didn't want to name. This is the story of how I found out toughness isn't silence, it's honesty, and how I had to learn to feel again before I could really live again. I grew up in a house where nobody talked about how they felt. You got up, did your job, and didn't complain. My dad worked with his hands. So did I. He wasn't cruel, just quiet, like a lot of men back then. If he was in pain, he didn't show it. If he was worried, we never knew. And that rubbed off on me. I learned early that talking didn't fix anything. Work did. If something bothered you, you buried it. I figured that was the deal. Be strong, keep moving, and don't make a fuss. Emotions were like broken tools, useless, maybe even dangerous. You didn't reach for them. You just kept building whatever life handed you, even if it didn't fit right. That's what being a man meant. In construction, nobody cares how you feel. They care if you show up. That's the culture. Sore back? Pop some ibuprofen. Still coughing from that cold? Tough it out. I took pride in being reliable. First on site, last to leave. The guy who didn't call in sick didn't make excuses. I was proud of that reputation. I wore my pain like a badge, proof I could handle more than most. It felt like strength, like value, like I mattered. And the truth is, I liked that feeling. I liked being needed. I liked being the one who never buckled. But I didn't notice how much of myself I was grinding down to keep that image alive. I didn't question the cost. Not yet. It started small. I'd get dizzy standing up too fast. Couldn't catch my breath after climbing stairs. I told myself it was just getting older. I'd get these sudden bursts of anger, sharp, out of nowhere. I blamed traffic, stress, life. Once or twice I woke up in a cold sweat, heart pounding like a drum. Still, I said nothing. I figured if I didn't give it attention, it would pass. I drank more at night, thinking it would help me sleep. It didn't. I told myself everyone feels like this sometimes, that I was just tired, just overworked. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. I just didn't want to deal with what that meant. I kept my world tight. Job, home, TV, beer, a few buddies. That was enough. I didn't want more. I didn't want big changes or new ideas or whatever people were chasing in therapy or books. I thought I'd built a simple, solid life. Nothing flashy, nothing fragile. And maybe it was, for a while. I didn't question what was missing because I didn't let myself imagine anything different. Feeling content felt safer than feeling curious. Safer than feeling, period. And I told myself that was peace. But looking back, it wasn't peace. It was numbness. I kept things small because I was afraid of what I'd feel if I opened up. Afraid of what I'd see if I looked too hard. Then came the sleepless nights, the chest tightness, the panic attacks. Though I didn't know to call them that at first, I'd just sit there, breathing hard, heart racing, like I'd run a mile in my own living room. I started forgetting things. My hands shook sometimes, and still I kept showing up to work, pretending nothing was wrong. But I was falling apart. My wife noticed before I did. She said I wasn't myself, but I didn't know who myself even was anymore. The structure I'd built, the one I thought made me strong, was crumbling. And it wasn't my body that gave out first. It was the part of me I'd been ignoring my whole life, the part that felt. One night, I woke up soaked in sweat. Couldn't catch my breath. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might stop altogether. I sat on the bedroom floor, trying to stay still, thinking, is this it? Am I dying? My wife wanted to call an ambulance. I said no, like an idiot. After a while it passed, but something inside me didn't settle. That was the first time I let the thought in. This isn't normal. This isn't just stress. I wasn't bouncing back like before. And for the first time in my life, I felt truly afraid. Not of pain, not of dying. Afraid that maybe I'd broken something inside myself that I didn't know how to fix. I went to the doctor expecting something simple, maybe blood pressure pills, a sleep aid, maybe they'd run a test or two. I told him I was just tired, probably overworked. He listened without saying much, then leaned back and looked at me. Really looked at me. And then he said, "Frank, your body's fine, but your nervous system's fried." I didn't know what to say. I'd never heard it put that way. He wasn't talking about muscles or bones. He was talking about something deeper, something I didn't have words for. And for the first time, I didn't feel tough. I felt exposed, like someone had opened a door I'd been keeping locked. Then he started using words I didn't expect. Anxiety, burnout, mindfulness. I remember thinking, is this a joke? That stuff was for yoga teachers and people who journal about crystals, not for men like me. I didn't come in for philosophy. I came in for a fix. Something quick. Something that didn't make me feel like a broken teenager. But the way he said it, calm and steady, made it hard to dismiss. Still, I didn't buy it. I nodded, took the pamphlets he handed me, and walked out thinking I'd just wasted my time. I wasn't about to start meditating in the mornings. I had work to do. Instead of a prescription pad, he gave me a card, just a name and a number. A therapist. "You can fill a script if you want," he said, "but what you really need is rest and honesty with yourself." That stopped me cold. I didn't know what that meant. Honesty with myself? I wasn't lying. I was surviving. I didn't even understand what I'd be honest about. But deep down, something in me recognized the truth of what he was saying. Still, I stuffed the card in my wallet and told myself I didn't need it, that I'd find a way to feel better without digging up whatever mess he thought I was carrying. I left that office pissed off. Felt like he was calling me weak, like I couldn't handle my own life. I told myself I'd just sleep more, cut back on the beer, maybe take a vacation. I didn't need therapy. I needed to get back to normal. But that night, something cracked. I sat in the dark, and tears just came. Out of nowhere. I hadn't cried in over a decade, maybe longer. I didn't even know what I was crying for. It scared me, not because it hurt, but because it felt like something had been waiting, patiently, to be let out. And once it started, I couldn't shove it back down. I tried to go back to normal, back to work, back to routines, but now everything felt different. I couldn't ignore the tightness in my shoulders or how my jaw clenched when I watched the news. Even silence felt heavy, like it was saying things I didn't want to hear. I started noticing how lonely I was, even around people. I'd sit on the couch at night and wonder how long I'd been living like this, disconnected, half awake. The walls I'd built to keep things out, they started echoing, and I began to hear things I'd buried years ago. Fear, sadness, longing. I didn't want to hear it, but I couldn't unhear it either. Something had shifted. After everything, I started asking myself a question I'd never considered. What am I even holding up? All those years pushing through, bottling things down, being the strong one. Who was I doing that for? I kept everything buried. Anger, sadness, even good things, joy, pride, softness. I thought if I didn't let it out, it couldn't hurt me. But it turns out, not feeling isn't strength. It's armor that gets heavier over time. I spent decades protecting something I couldn't even name. And when I finally looked underneath all that control, I didn't see weakness. I saw a man who was scared to be seen, even by himself. Eventually, I went. Not because I believed in it, but because I didn't know what else to do. I sat there, arms crossed, staring at the carpet. The therapist didn't push. He didn't lecture. He just asked, "When was the last time you felt safe just being yourself?" I didn't answer, not out loud, but something in me cracked a little, because I couldn't remember. Maybe as a kid, before life taught me to brace. All I knew was that being myself never felt like enough. So I built a version people could count on, but not one I could rest in. That question stayed with me long after I left the room. Next time, I talked more. Not a lot, just enough to surprise myself. Then the stories started coming. One about my dad, who never said, "I'm proud of you," but always showed up to help. One about a friend from work who died suddenly, and how I never let myself grieve. One about holding my wife while pretending I was fine, even when I felt hollow. It was like the stories had been sitting there, waiting for permission, and now they had it. I didn't cry like in the movies, no dramatic sobbing, but I felt everything all at once. Years of pressure finally loosening their grip. I always thought breaking down would mean I'd failed, that if I cracked, I'd never come back from it. But the truth is, it felt like breathing, like I'd been underwater for decades and finally came up for air. I wasn't weak, I was tired. There's a difference. Tired from carrying things I never named, from pretending, from surviving. And that moment, in that quiet little office, wasn't the end of me. It was the beginning. Not some huge transformation, just the first honest breath I'd taken in a very long time. These days, I start my mornings different. 10 quiet minutes. No phone, no news, no distractions. Just me, noticing what's going on inside. Sounds simple, but it wasn't at first. My mind would race, my body would fidget. I'd feel stupid, but slowly, it's taught me to notice before I boil over, to catch tension before it turns to shouting, to feel sadness before it becomes numbness. It's not about being calm all the time. It's about learning how I feel, on purpose, instead of running on autopilot. I never knew silence could feel like company. For most of my life, I believed you had to earn rest, that if you weren't completely spent, you hadn't done enough. Rest was dessert, a reward for pain. But now, I see it differently. Rest is fuel. It's what lets me show up fully, not just grind through. I don't need to collapse to deserve it. I can stop before I'm broken. That was a hard shift. Even now, I catch myself reaching for busyness when I feel uncomfortable. But I'm learning to pause without guilt, to breathe without a reason, and to believe that taking care of myself isn't lazy. It's responsible. I started reaching out, just calling up a friend to talk, no agenda. At first it felt awkward. One guy joked, "What, you dying or something?" We laughed it off, but then he kept talking, told me about his own sleep issues, his worries about retiring, little stuff he'd never said before. And I realized I wasn't the only one white-knuckling my way through life in silence. We'd all just gotten so used to pretending we didn't need anything. But the minute one person dropped the act, it opened a door. That's when I learned. Real strength isn't in hiding your pain. It's in letting someone see it, and staying anyway. I don't want to give the wrong idea, like I've become some kind of guru. Most days are still just days. I wake up, I have coffee, I deal with whatever's in front of me. I still get grumpy, I still zone out. I still mutter under my breath in traffic. But now I notice what I'm feeling instead of bulldozing through it. I don't pretend I'm fine when I'm not. I name it, tired, sad, anxious, and let it be there. Sometimes that's all it takes, just noticing. It's not about being emotional all the time. It's about being honest, even on the boring days. I used to live like I was always being watched, like I had to keep up a role, the capable one, the steady one, the man who didn't flinch. It was exhausting. These days, I'm not performing anymore. I'm just living. I still curse when I drop something. I still grunt fixing the sink. I haven't turned into someone else. But I've dropped the pressure to be perfect. If I'm struggling, I say it. If I'm grateful, I say that too. I don't wait until I'm falling apart to ask for help. I just try to show up as I am, not who I think I'm supposed to be. And that's made all the difference. Nobody taught me how to feel. Growing up, you kept your mouth shut and your chin up. But somewhere along the way, my body started speaking for me. In panic, in pain, in sleepless nights. I didn't know it then, but that was my soul trying to be heard, trying to say, slow down, look inside. I ignored it for years. I thought I was being strong. But strength isn't silence, it's listening. So now I listen, not perfectly, not always, but I try. I breathe, I rest, I tell the truth, even when it's quiet or messy. And for the first time in my life, I'm not surviving, I'm alive. If any part of this story hit home, if you've ever swallowed your feelings just to get through the day, you're not alone. I used to think the quiet inside me was strength. Turns out, it was a cry for help. So, if this spoke to you, leave a comment. What's something your body tried to tell you that you didn't want to hear? Or, when was the moment you realized you couldn't just power through anymore? If you want more stories like this, subscribe.